often here, we associate fintechs with payments, and they are not the same thing. The moment you start looking at payments, there are regulations you must jump through, whether you like it or not. If you are providing fintech services to the medical profession or customers that requires opinions, you would also have to pass through regulation. So when we talk about the balance, the question really is, what are you trying to do? And where it's specific to an industry or sector, existing rules have to be met. But there are so many other things we can do that are not regulated, but we don't look at them because everybody is going along the same path. So how do we find that balance between regulation and fintech? I think a lot of it is based on what you want to do and your imagination. In the payment space, you don't have a choice. There's fixed regulation, which, as David has highlighted, the central bank feels an obligation to protect people sometimes from themselves. Hence MMM. And with all the protection and all the talk, it still happened. But you're not as limited. And that's where I think people should start focusing. What can you do? We have 30-odd million people that the bank service, or so BVN says. All of you are targeting the same 30 million, owned by the banks, and you expect the banks to say, oh, those are my 30 million, jump in. If our population is, what, 180 million, 150 million, 100, whatever number, 30 million pales in comparison with what the potentials are outside the banking space. And that's where the financial inclusion question comes in. Who are they? What do they want? What would they like to see? And more importantly, who will pay for it? Because they may not pay for the service. But until you find that mix for them, taking the model of 30 million and trying to apply it to another 60, 70 odd million will not work. It's a person who finds that formula and can monetize it, because you may find the formula, not be able to monetize it, not be able to scale, and somebody will get it and then do exactly those things that would bring some success there. How? I'm not sure. But they're a totally different breed from the 30 million you are all targeting. And until we have a change in mindset, it's going to be difficult to service them. So I think there's a big opportunity for financial inclusion. And I don't think it's payments. Payment is a scale game. Most of you will never achieve that scale, unfortunately. So focusing on payments as the way, I'm not sure it's going to help most people. Maybe one or two may succeed. Alibaba didn't start from scratch. They bought a finance company. Apple was running Apple Pay using existing card infrastructure to lock down your cards for payment. So dreaming up something new. I'm sorry to say, I'm not sure we're going to get very far with it. But that doesn't limit what you can do, because these big companies didn't start with payments. They started by realizing that the real gold is information, data, and being able to get the people, the numbers, to scale and to be with you on your platform. And that's what we must find for those below the 30 million for financial inclusion. Thank you.
Okay, so you made a said there's a distinction between payments and fintech. Can you expand on that for Nigerians to understand?
Okay, what we're trying to find these days, when people talk about fintech, they look more at the fin side, which is financial. And the fin, for many people, is interpreted to mean that I need to be able to have a way of getting people to pay. Everybody assumes that it's difficult for people to pay. So most of the solutions we see, at least those that come and talk with us, is around how can I make payments better. But you need to remember that payments themselves is at the end of a chain. You need to have a customer, you need to have a product that they're willing to pay for. Then they must have the means to pay before you worry about the channel. So the more common channel is cash. But if you look at the biggest companies in the world, the likes of an Apple, the likes of WhatsApp, the likes of Google, they didn't start as payment companies. What they did was they found something of value for people, made it available, and then down the line monetize it with payments. But they were getting value out of it, but it was not obvious because it wasn't monetized as payment. It was data. If you take Apple, for example, what did they do? They created a platform that allowed musicians and producers distribute their music at a lower cost because they cut out the middleman. And they were doing that and getting a commission from the producers of the music. They were not the ones making the payments. At that time, you would use any of your cards, Visa and Master, register and use it to pay. Years later, they're now extending to create the payment platform with Apple Pay. So the focus these days is too much on the pay from fintechs, rather than, can I find value somewhere for people? Realizing that the real value today is in the data. It's not in moving the things around. We don't see enough of that.